Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is right around the corner, and as a Battlefield fanboy, I gotta say I am jealous AF. From the incredible looking gunsmith features, ridiculous AAA production quality, pushing their engine tech further and pushing their free-to-play components even further than before, how can their competition possibly keep up? And well, frankly, it's not. Call of Duty is leaving every other FPS in the dust from both a paid and free-to-play perspective. Today, Activision had their official Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer reveal, showing off all of the new features with live gameplay. There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about and weigh in with my more Battlefield-ish background and talk about whether or not this makes me want to jump over to the COD camp. And of course, just to be clear, as I do with pretty much all of the Call of Duty releases, I will be playing this on PC on the 22nd just to see what it's all about. It does definitely have me interested. Of course, I'm not for a second thinking that for some reason or other it's not going to be a Call of Duty game at the end of the day. I think it'll be a very good Call of Duty game, but a Call of Duty game nonetheless. So if the past games in the COD franchise didn't sway me over, there's a chance that this one won't either. That being said, there are some things that are very interesting about this new game. The new weapon sounds, as far as the trailer compression audio goes, sound pretty fantastic. The player animations also seem fairly upgraded, also now with new kinematic systems to better represent how players are aiming, and also bullets are now supposedly spawning from the weapon barrels themselves instead of from players' cameras, which is actually not as common as you might expect in video games. It's a more realistic feature that you find more common with sim games, and I wasn't expecting to find in a Call of Duty game. The swimming mechanics also look extremely good, with lots of underwater combat options that look honestly superior to just about every other FPS game I've seen out there. Now, of course, just watching the standard multiplayer gameplay from it does look still very twitchy and bunny hopping with crazy fast TTK that doesn't exactly remind me of a, say, more realistic shooter experience, but it's nice to see that the underlying mechanics and the engine are still getting good upgrades, but the gameplay itself is staying true to the origins, which is no surprise. Now, the new weapon customization table, the Gunsmith, looks just honestly idyllic. Full modern weapon customization to a manageable degree. They're also changing things up, allowing the unlocks that you get to transfer over between weapons that share the similar receiver types is a big deal, honestly. Something that I honestly didn't really enjoy about the previous COD games, and considering that so many people are playing Warzone now, just making the base game less of a grind, I think will be just a nice ease of entry point for it. Now, comparing this to, say, Battlefield's Plus system, which still does have, like, in-game weapon modification over this, which I guess could be seen as still an advanced feature, well, most of Battlefield's Plus system isn't really used. All players use are the optic modification and occasionally switching the ammo type if you run out of ammo in-game, but the rest of it isn't really used. So I'd still say COD's modification system seems superior over Battlefield's at this point in time. Now, when looking at the new game modes, the Ground War mode is the closest thing to a Battlefield experience. This was shown off a bit, and it does look cool, especially with the new boat and water experiences. However, having played Ground War quite a bit from the previous games, it's become clear that it wasn't even close to a Battlefield replacement, and I don't anticipate Modern Warfare 2 making Ground War a mode that just happens to replace Battlefield's Conquest as a better game mode. Perhaps it'll be decent, but despite Battlefield's recent failures with its past titles, the many attempts by third-party games to create Battlefield replacements over the years have proven that honestly it's a tough nut to crack, even for Call of Duty. However, if you approach Ground War as just a bigger version of domination with vehicles, I could see it being a pretty good time for Call of Duty fans. Now, there's some other new modes that look pretty interesting, like a 6v6 prisoner rescue that seems similar to, say, Rainbow Six, or a special ops mode where somebody is in a dedicated air support role, probably giving intel and communication. A really interesting new option that they're adding to the franchise is a third-person camera option for all modes going forward. This will be a modifier and not something that's just going to be there and available all the time. I don't know how many players will actually want it, but but I guess it'll just be an option for creating more custom game modes. Now, of course, Warzone 2.0 and the new DMZ mode are the big news here. Warzone 2.0 is releasing on November 16th. Again, as a free-to-play title, Warzone 2.0 seems like it's going to be a pretty similar experience to the original Warzone, with a brand new map called Al Mazrah. It's an expansive desert map with cities, mountain peaks, and rivers. It actually looks pretty good. The graphics look improved and much more realistic. The encroaching circle looks less green, which makes the environment feel far more realistic and less cartoony in my opinion. There's some cool changes to the base mechanics as well. The circles can now split into multiple circles at points during the round, creating smaller battle royales that will then rejoin each other at a later point in the match. And I really love that evolution in the circle system. It's kind of cool, and different battle royales have tried to play around with the circle system as well, which I think just adds some extra flavor to the match as it progresses. The Gulag system is also thrown in some extra flavor, where it allows you to team up with another player at random, and you can use comms to try and strategize against another team. Apparently AI can be thrown into the match as well, and there may be even key elements where you can pick up a key and even escape at a door randomly during a match. Medical cases and weapon caches are going to be in set locations throughout the cities and the map, so basically it'll add more predictability to the map and kind of reward you for your map knowledge as you progress around the map, which I kind of like. Proximity chat is being added, which is kind of a big deal for streamers and content creators. I'm sure it'll add to funny clips and probably trolling, but it seems like something that most people at least want. I'm sure that you'll be able to turn it off if you don't want to listen to the COD kitties smack talking. There's going to be bunkers that you'll be able to loot with AI guarding them, and apparently the AI aren't going to be pushovers. Although watching the streamers play, it seemed like they were fairly easy to defeat. Watching the live Warzone match itself was actually really entertaining, and the map itself looks honestly incredible. Now, speaking of the AI being a bigger part of the new modes, DMZ is the big secret new extraction royale mode, which is going to be AI heavy. Apparently, players will define their own win conditions, choosing if you want to complete specific missions, complete different tasks, explore on your own, or hunt other players. It's going to be kind of up to you. It'll be played on the same Al Mazrah map, and the AI are supposed to be lethal and able to call in reinforcements as well. Overall, it looks like Modern Warfare 2 is about to be one of the biggest Call of Duty games in the franchise history, and that is saying something. This is huge for Call of Duty fans. As a Battlefield fanboy, I am of course jealous, but I'm also legitimately happy for fans of the franchise. It's great when gamers get a win, and that's exactly what Modern Warfare 2 looks like it's about to be. I really enjoyed Modern Warfare single player, and I was at least distracted by its multiplayer for a time. We'll see what happens come the 22nd when the game launches on PC Early Access. I'm probably not going to be playing on PlayStation Early Access starting tomorrow, but if you do have a PlayStation and want to try it out, that is when it's launching. What do you guys think? I'd especially be curious to hear about mainline Battlefield fans. Does Modern Warfare 2 interest you, or is it just another Call of Duty game? As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.